Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in the previous video, we had an overview that whenever we have to integrate any application with another application or with UiPath, what are the few key pointers which we have to keep in mind before proceeding in with the integration. We went through a few of the basic things and the authentication methods. And now moving forward, now we'll be picking Zoom and we'll be integrating a few of its API, and at the end of the video, we'll see that once we have integrated, how do we make a custom activity out of all the integrations that we have performed. So starting off, I showed you that there is a very detailed description already given for all the APIs in marketplace.zoom.us. So you have a documentation here, you have a way to integrate SDKs, you have a way to integrate API reference. Then also there is a Zoom forum, like we have UiPath forum, wherein if you're facing any issue related to any API call or related to any integration or related to anything regarding Zoom, you can post it there. There are people, there are forum members of Zoom who will try to address your queries. It may take some time for them to address your queries, but they try to address it. And also, as I told you, it's application dependent, that it could be that the API is exposed to public use and it could not be. So there are, I think, 5, 6 APIs of Zoom which are available for public use. You can send your request or hit that API and you can get the response. So this is one of their API. Also, if you can just see your scopes is user read admin and user read. So what is the scope thing? So basically this scope only defines that whether a free Zoom user or a non-premium account would be able to hit this API or would not be able to hit this API. And how are you going to get to know that? If you just go to this marketplace.zoom.us, wherein in the first video saw you created an app, and it could be OAuth app, it could be an SDK app, it could be a JWT app. So you created an app out there, and I'll just show. So if I just open my UiPath app, so there are certain permissions given to your app by default and that you get while you create it. And you can see it somewhere here. I'll have to just go through it once to see that where actually it is given. So features, no. There is an option, I think if we go to permissions, then probably we'll be able to see what all permissions does our app have that are listed on the Zoom. There is a section, I'll just try to go through it and maybe cover in the next video. I exactly don't remember where it is. So there is an option over here in the app marketplace wherein you can actually see that what all permissions you're having on your app which you've created and the permissions which you have. So you'll have written it like this here, over here, as you see, user read, admin, user read. So like these scopes are mentioned. And if your app has the scope which the API demands, only then you will be able to make that API call. Otherwise, you'll not be able to make that API call and you'll get an error that access issue or you're not allowed to call that particular API. So it's given. Anyways, let's not waste any more time. I'll just check at my end where that option is, from wherein you can see that what all scopes does actually your this thing have app, and accordingly only you can call the APIs. Okay, so as of now, this particular get user thing, what does it do? That it would get in all the user information. That is, you first log into a particular, you could say, an application with your email ID and a password. So you are a user now and you have certain information like what is your user ID, what is your password. Then there is always a UUID, a unique identifier created, and that is for their own database and their own reference for every user. And likewise, there are many other fields which are created as, for example, there are many applications wherein you put in your date of birth, wherein you put your gender, wherein you put all other details, your address, everything. So those all data are user related information. And how you can get it via API is what we are going to actually see. One more very nice thing about Zoom documentation is at the below, you can get this, pre-built way, or you could say an application to test your API calls. And from here, you can see that what headers you have to pass, what queries you have to pass, and all these things. So if I just copy this thing, the API which I have to pass, I'll copy it. I'll go back to UiPath. Now over here, when I have to make an API call is, what does it actually means? That I am sending an HTTP request and I'll get something in response. The result, it could be a success result and I get in all the user information, or it could not be a success because there is something wrong with my API call. So instead of user ID, I'll write me, because as of now I do not have the user ID. And user ID basically is the UUID which you'll be getting. So this me thing what I've typed is also one of the APIs which you can hit, and it is given in the Zoom documentation page. You can check it out. Also, now this request method, it could be get, post, put, delete, and these are, you could say, the very basic concepts of HTTP request. If you're not aware, you can drop in the comment below and I'll try covering all these request methods in my upcoming video. But as of now, I'll give you a very brief description. So get is when you have to just get the information out of the API, is when you use a get request method. In post is when you send in something and corresponding to that, you have to get in some data. Or that's a post query, that you won't be getting anything and you will just send something. For example, if you're creating a meeting, so you are just posting all the details of creating a meeting, but you're not getting anything. But if you want the user information, you have to get the user information. So those are the two basic request method, the get and post. Now, once we have put in the endpoint, the accept format could be a JSON. If you put it any, so it would vary. It could be a JSON, it could be an XML. But if you have to specify, you can obviously specify. Then you have a header in here wherein you'll be passing your authorization token, which is your JWT token. Also, always make sure, it may sometime not be mentioned in the documentation very clearly. Whenever you're passing a token, an authorization token especially, you attach bearer to it. So let us just copy the authentication token or our JWT token, which we'll have to paste it there. It also expires, so take care that you want it for 90 minutes, you want it for 1 day, you want it for 1 week. So you'll add bearer, then space, and then your authorization token. Post which, because it's a get request and nothing is required in the body, so you'll just leave as it is. And then you'll just get in the information. So you'll get in the result or the user information in a result variable, and you'll get the status code here. So status code is nothing but a numerical digit which would specify that whether your request was a successful one and whether your request wasn't a successful one is what it specifies. And let us do one thing. Let us write the response in a text file instead, so that it's way too clear to us what all data we have actually got from that API. So text to be quoted is result, and just let us write it here in a get user info dot txt. And because the status code is a numerical value, let's just convert it into string. Also, if you just go here in the API documentation, so you will see that what does actually the status code means. If you've got a 200, that means everything is okay, you've got your result. If you've got the response as 400, it means something. If you've got 404, then it means something, user not found, and all those things. So there are even the description of the responses. Also to add, whether you have to go with OAuth or whether you have to go with JWT, and you're choosing whichever, how you will be authenticating, that thing also is being given in a very clear way here in the documentation thing. When you do this authentication now, so you'll get this pop-up here. And when you'll authorize, only then your bot would be allowed to communicate to the Zoom. So now let's just run this and see if it works or not. And yeah, let's just run it in normal mode, not the debug mode. We'll open the output pane and see what our status code is. And if there is any error, then what it is actually logged. So now actually when you have to get a user information, you need not to use, okay, so we've got the URI scheme is not valid. Okay, so let's check what is the issue. What are we missing? Let's open our endpoint because that seems to be not valid because it is having two double quotes. So obviously it is not valid. Let us save it again and run it again. So once we have got the information, the user information, there is a key value pair named UUID in the response, using which you can call a lot many APIs, because this me thing at the end does not work in all the APIs, and you would require UUID for a lot of APIs. Also, you can see here in the output pane, we've got the status code as 200, which means everything is worked fine. Also, if we just open this get user information text file created, so we'll see a lot of things here. ID, my first name, last name, the email ID, then we have the personal meeting URL, what it is, then the type, the role name, the time zone, because mine is Asia, Calcutta. So, and when was it created? When did I last log in? Last client version, the host key, CM user ID, JID, group IDs, everything, every single detail that should be available, my language, the phone country, the phone number, because all this I've not specified in my account, so the information is not here. But obviously, if Zoom has made it or any other application that has made all these mandatory fields, and when you then hit this API, you would even get those results. So that's how we integrated Zoom with UiPath and called a first API. Many more to come in the next videos. Thanks for watching the video, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.